Hey there folks, Sammy Thompson here, and tonight we're diving headfirst into the wild world of American politics. Specifically, we're talking about the two big cheeses, the elephants in the room, the Democrats and the Republicans. Now these two parties are like oil and water, fire and ice, or maybe more accurately like cats and dogs. They rarely agree on anything, and when they do, it's usually by accident, but hey, that's what makes America great, right? The freedom to disagree, to argue passionately about the things we believe in. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's make one thing clear. This ain't about picking sides. This is about understanding the issues, the policies that shape our lives, and the parties that champion them. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're going on a wild ride through the American political landscape. We'll explore the history, the triumphs, and the controversies that have defined these two parties over the years. From the campaign trails to the election nights, from the legislative battles to the policy debates, we'll cover it all. We'll also take a closer look at the key figures who have shaped the political landscape, the leaders who have left their mark. And of course we'll sprinkle in some humor, because what's politics without a little satire? So whether you're a political junkie or just someone trying to make sense of it all, stay tuned. Together, we'll navigate the complexities and celebrate the diversity that makes American politics so fascinating. Let's get started, shall we? First up on our political tour, the definition of family. Now this might seem like a no-brainer, but trust me, it's a lot more complicated than it sounds. Republicans, generally speaking, hold on to a more traditional view of family. They often define it as a union between a man and a woman, raising children together. Think, leave it to Beaver with a side of apple pie. Democrats, on the other hand, tend to embrace a more inclusive definition of family. They recognize that families come in all shapes and sizes. Single parents, same-sex couples, blended families, you name it. Next up, we're wading into the often contentious waters of child transitioning. This issue centers on the rights of transgender youth and their access to gender-affirming care. Republicans often express concerns about the long-term implications of such care, particularly for young children. They argue for protecting children's innocence and allowing them to mature before making life-altering decisions about their gender identity. Democrats, however, generally support a more affirming approach. They believe that transgender youth should have access to age-appropriate care, including counseling, hormone therapy, and potentially, in some cases, surgery. Hold on tight, folks, because we're entering the battleground of religious freedom. This is a fundamental right in America, but the question of where it begins and ends is a constant source of debate. Republicans often advocate for broad protections of religious liberty. They believe that individuals and organizations should be free to exercise their faith without government interference, even if it means exempting them from certain laws. Democrats, while also supporting religious freedom, emphasize the importance of balancing it with other rights, like non-discrimination. They argue that religious freedom should not be used to justify discrimination against LGBTQ+ individuals or other protected groups. Section 5, the abortion debate, choosing life or protecting choice. Alright folks, brace yourselves, because this next issue is a real doozy: abortion. It's one of the most divisive and emotionally charged topics in American politics, and both sides feel incredibly strongly about it. Republicans, by and large, are staunchly pro-life. They believe that life begins at conception and that abortion is morally wrong. They support overturning Roe v. Wade, the landmark Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide. Democrats, on the other hand, are generally pro-choice. They believe that women have the right to control their own bodies and make their own decisions about their reproductive health, including whether or not to have an abortion. Section 6, Education Crossroads, Public Schools versus School Choice. Now let's talk about education, the key to a brighter future, or so they say. But when it comes to how kids should be educated, well, let's just say there are some different schools of thought. Republicans often champion school choice, advocating for charter schools, vouchers, and other alternatives to traditional public schools. They believe that competition will improve education overall and give parents more control over their children's education. Democrats, however, generally prioritize funding and supporting public schools. They argue that all children deserve access to quality education, regardless of their zip code or socioeconomic background. Section 7. the scales of justice. Appointing judges, shaping the law. Hold on to your gavels, folks, because we're about to enter the hallowed halls of justice. This is where the magic happens, where the law is interpreted, and where the future of legal precedents is shaped. Now, judges, as we all know, are supposed to be impartial interpreters of the law. They are the guardians of our legal system, ensuring that justice is served fairly and without bias. But the process of appointing them? Well, that's anything but impartial. It's a highly political process, influenced by the ideologies and agendas of those in power. Republicans tend to favor judges who interpret the Constitution literally, adhering strictly to the text as it was originally written. They argue that this approach preserves the original intent of the Founding Fathers. They believe in judicial restraint, meaning judges should avoid legislating from the bench and leave policymaking to elected officials. This philosophy emphasizes the importance of separation of powers. Democrats, on the other hand, often prefer judges who take a more expansive view of the Constitution, considering its underlying principles and how they apply to contemporary issues. They argue that the Constitution is a living document that must evolve with society. They believe in judicial activism, meaning judges have a role to play in protecting individual rights and promoting social justice. This approach often leads to more progressive rulings that reflect the changing values of society. The debate over judicial philosophy is not just academic, it has real-world implications. The judges appointed today will shape the laws and rights of tomorrow, influencing everything from civil liberties to economic regulations. So, the next time you hear about a judicial appointment, remember that it's not just about filling a seat, it's about shaping the future of our legal landscape and ultimately, our society. Section 8, Moral Compass, Navigating the Ethical Landscape. Last but not least, let's talk about moral issues, the sticky wickets that make us all scratch our heads and wonder what's right and what's wrong. Republicans often draw from traditional religious values, emphasizing personal responsibility, family values, and opposition to abortion and same-sex marriage. They believe in a strong national defense and limited government intervention in the economy. Democrats, on the other hand, tend to prioritize social justice issues, advocating for equality, diversity, and inclusion. They support government programs aimed at helping the poor and disadvantaged and believe in a woman's right to choose and LGBTQ+ rights. Section 9, Policy Collision, where Democrats and Republicans diverge. So there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of the major policy battlegrounds where Democrats and Republicans lock horns. From family values to religious freedom, from education to the judiciary, these two parties have vastly different visions for America. Republicans, with their emphasis on tradition, individual liberty, and limited government, often clash with Democrats, who champion social justice, equality, and a more active role for government in solving societal problems. Section 10, Your Voice, Your Choice, Understanding the Stakes. Now I know what you're thinking. Stephen, this is all well and good, but why does it even matter? How do these policy differences affect me, the average Joe or Jane? Well, my friend, here's the thing. These policies shape our lives in countless ways. They determine how our tax dollars are spent, what kind of healthcare we have access to, and even the air we breathe. Environmental regulations, anyone? Understanding these differences is crucial because it empowers you to make informed decisions at the ballot box. When you cast your vote, you're not just choosing a candidate, you're choosing a set of values, a vision for the future of our country. Section 11. Join the conversation, like, subscribe, share. This is your chance to be part of a larger dialogue, to make your voice heard in the ongoing discussion about our nation's future. And that, my friends, is the bottom line. Your engagement is crucial. We've covered a lot of ground tonight, from family values to the Supreme Court, and everything in between. I hope you've gained a better understanding of the key policy differences between Democrats and Republicans. These issues shape our daily lives and our collective future. But the conversation doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. I want to hear from you. Your opinions matter. What are your thoughts on these issues? How do they impact your life and your community? Which policies resonate with you most? Which ones do you think need more attention? Let's keep the dialogue going in the comments below. Your insights can spark meaningful conversations. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Spread the word and help us reach more people. The more informed we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the complexities of American politics and build a brighter future for all. Knowledge empowers us to make better decisions. Stay tuned, America, and remember, knowledge is power. Together, we can make a difference.